is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Big and Blizz podcast. This is episode 36. We are your boys, Big Mike, and I'm your boy, Blizzy. We're going to start it off with, I wouldn't say the elephant in the room, Big, but Damar Hamlin, that's kind of big news right now, and you know, we're recording a little bit later than when he went down with that injury on the field, and, you know, God bless his soul, or not soul, he's not dead, but, he's making recovery, like really good recovery from what I've seen and read about. But Damar Hamlin was he a safety? He was a a backup safety for excuse me, another player, and in the Bills and Bengals game in the first quarter, he went to tackle Bengals wide receiver or I'm sorry, I think he's a tight end, T. Higgins.
Wide receiver.
Okay. And when he did, he caught a helmet to his chest. It was a good hit. Tackled Higgins and stood up, looked around, and fell out, to the point that they had to bring medical staff on the field, and they ended up having to do CPR and resuscitate him and all this other stuff. And the players were visibly upset, and it was some stuff that's unprecedented with the NFL. They've never had to deal with something like this before. And ultimately, the game got canceled. But, Big, I mean, you can explain some if you want.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, unprecedented. Like, normally they just shove them in the ambulance and drive them off. Like,
And next man up kind of thing.
But, I mean, at all levels, we've seen kids go into cardiac arrest. I say kids because, I mean, Damar Hamlin's probably younger than I am.
Yeah.
At this point, like, you see him go into cardiac arrest. Like, things have happened, but I don't know if we've ever seen it
To this extreme.
nationally televised. Like,
As bad as it was, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen we've seen articles and we've seen stories like over the years where guys will collapse in practice or something like this. But for like it to happen on,
It was Monday Night Football.
like, yes, I'm saying like nationally televised, all that stuff, where those first responders had to go out there in front of 50,000 people in the stadium,
If not
plus
more,
whatever
yeah.
was on the cameras.
Millions on
To run a
feed.
code is just, well, everybody's watching. Literally, the world was watching.
Yeah.
It felt like.
Well, I mean, it was probably a lot less until word got around, and then it transpired into the world watching. And you know what? Before we get any farther, let's shout out the first responders, the EMTs that were there. And I shared a post from my sister-in-law who's in the medical field the other day, and it said that it was the lowest paid people on that field that made the biggest, contribution in saving a life, you know? And, like, these people, I don't know, they're probably getting paid with their normal wage plus some for being there
It's probably
off
some
duty.
overtime.
Yeah.
Usually that's what it is for, like, from people that I've known, like, that are first responders, cops and stuff. Those kind of events are like overtime. You put in for them and then you get picked for them type of thing.
Yeah, well, that's like when David and myself went and saw Post Malone in Las Vegas recently. We were talking about that. We were talking to the officers that were there, and I asked them about that. And you had to be in the force for a while, and the arena was paying their salary, even though they were in full uniform for their city. The arena was paying that, and their city, the patrol, whatever, the PD, let them do that.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, prayers with Damar. It seems like he's making a good recovery. I can't say a full recovery because he's still in the hospital. He's still in intensive care getting treated. But I guess when they had the breathing tube down his throat, when he was still being helped to breathe, he was squeezing hands, and the doctors gave him a notepad, and he was able to write because he couldn't talk with a breathing tube down his throat. And this is a few days ago. And the first question he asked is, did we win on Monday? And I guess the doctors, I saw a press conference with the two, like, high-end doctors, surgeons, whatever they are, physicians, and they said that they told him, Damar, like, you won. You won at life. And I'm like, that's crazy because you said Miles Sanders was a teammate of his from high school and told him something similar, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was Miles Sanders was his teammate in high school, and he had said that he was blessed. Speaking of the first responders, Miles Sanders had said something about he's trying to figure out like who those first responders were, so that he can do something for them. Like because he's like he said when he saw it, he was broken up because that's like
one of his best friends.
Best friends from high school. Like they played together, and so he's trying to figure out what he can do for those first responders and they didn't rush out there because that's what they want. They don't want the publicity. Yeah. They don't want all that. But
no, not at all. They don't get enough credit. But didn't you also see a post you talked about earlier about other first responders or somebody in higher positions talking about them?
They said it was like the fact that the people who like rushed that field to help him, first responder wise, had like the balls to be able to run that code and everything with all those eyes watching them. Mm-hmm. Is a huge thing. Like a lot of people would have just loaded them in the ambulance and
done it from there. Yeah,
ran it in the ambulance on the way to the hospital instead of trying to deal with it right on the scene. And I mean, if you think about it, without the cameras, there's like we said, 40, 50,000 people watching you do,
if not more. Yeah,
watching you do what you need to do, CPR, shock his rhythm, whatever they had to do.
They did use a defibrillator from what I said, so CPR.
50,000 people watching you. Just imagine, like, even for like some of us that
working at a supermarket, having 50,000 people watch you do your job is intense.
Yeah,
it's intense. Imagine
trying to save someone's life while 50,000 people are watching you.
And they are the true heroes. And you know what we've talked about? I don't know if we talked about on the podcast, but athletes get paid hundreds of millions of dollars. Even the lowest paid athlete, which Damar might be closer to one of the lower paid athletes.
He's on the minimum range. I think I saw something that said his
salary
for the year was $820,000.
Which is, for us, that's a fucking dream, especially playing the game you love, and I'm sure to them too. But even somebody in him being a replacement in a sense and making $800,000 a year is way more than what these first responders that saved his life make. The true heroes are the ones in the trenches, the good police officers, the paramedics, the doctors, the surgeons, and shit like that, firefighters, and they get paid shit compared to what these people get to play a sport that they love. It's their dream. It's everybody's dream, it's crazy, but it's nice to see that the true heroes shined in this and helped this young man,
Yeah.
So it's awesome. But like I said, he seems to be making a good recovery. I guess he's been talking. He did an IG post where he went live with Meek Mill and he was FaceTiming, and he posted a screenshot. And I can't remember who the other guy's name was. It was an older white man. But I think it was the owner of Fanatics, because he posted a screenshot of him, Meek Mill, and this other man. And it said that Fanatics is taking all proceeds of his jersey sales and donating it to his charity or something like that. And I saw that earlier, which is awesome. And then you saw something that Damar said on social media earlier about coming back stronger.
It was on Yahoo Sports, I think, or something, where he talked about this is going to make him come back even stronger.
Yeah, and that's a powerful statement. And then I heard on TMZ, or seen on TMZ, that he also has been asking if he can play again or when he can play again, which, I mean, it depends on, obviously, what the physicians say. He might not ever play again or have a more limited role, or hopefully he's going to be there for the next game, or at least the playoff games for the Bills, to be there cheering his team on,
Yeah, like we said, I wouldn't doubt him being on the sidelines for the playoffs, or if they make it to the Super Bowl, but I don't see him putting on a jersey.
So, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was like, I don't see him putting on a jersey at all.
Unless it's his game jersey and he's in street clothes.
Yeah, I'm talking about, he's not suiting up to play.
They have to do so much more tests.
Probably, I don't even know if he'll suit up for the beginning of next season.
Yeah, they're going to go through a lot of stuff.
How extensive that was,
yeah.
Because to be honest, if you watch the hit, it's not a hit that would make you think
It was a hard hit, but not. It's something you see every game.
So it's so in my brain, it's is there something else that hasn't been found before?
A pre-existing condition.
So that's my thing, is to me, this either one, it was a fluke, he just got hit in that 1 in a million spot, and he'll be back at the beginning of next season, or it's something that's going to keep him out for a long time.
hopefully, like Ryan Shazier with the Steelers, hopefully they support him like they did with him.
Yeah.
A lot more. But did you see tonight the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 17? To start Week 18, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Las Vegas Raiders, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tennessee Titans. A lot of the players that weren't suited were wearing shirts I can't remember what they said, Damar Love or Love for Damar Hamlin with his number, but they were in the team's colors. Like the Chiefs had red, black, and white with big number 3 on the chest. Love for Damar, something to the effect. So and so they've made a lot of merch. Every team has to support him, and I don't know if proceeds are going to his charity or where they're going, but it would be nice. But that that affects because the NFL came out finally and said that they're canceling the game, they're not restarting it, they're not going to replay it, nothing like that. Now that has implications on the playoff standings. So they're talking about a coin flip and a neutral site. Do you have more insight on that, Big?
Yeah, it's just like you said, they're gonna. It really depends on the Bengals-Ravens game.
Yeah.
On what happens if the Bengals beat the Ravens, then it's a non-factor.
Yeah.
I guess at that point. But if the Ravens beat the Bengals, then it turns into like the tiebreakers aren't there that should have been there, something, and so it'll turn into like a coin toss. And they've tossed around Detroit Lions because the Lions aren't going to play a home playoff game. They were on the list, but they're having their turf redone, so that's out. And then the Colts were the second option, I guess.
They have a huge volleyball tournament.
And they have like
scheduled.
a national volleyball tournament, so they're out.
And all the hotels are booked and all that shit. Mark Davis for the Las Vegas Raiders said he would give up his stadium for them to play.
Which, if you think about it, like we talked about pre-podcast, it's brand new stadium.
Yeah.
They don't have anything going on. It's an AFC.
It's very
an
neutral.
AFC stadium.
Very neutral. It's not close to either home site.
Yeah, it's not close to anybody. I mean, it's as neutral could be. Like, really, you're probably going to see more Raiders and Niners jerseys in the stands than you would see.
Yeah.
Any of the other teams. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's crazy. And the crazy thing is, the Bengals might face the Bills in the playoffs, or probably will.
Yeah, well, yeah, it all depends. Like I said, like we were talking, if we look at the playoff things, if the Ravens beat the Bengals, it could potentially sway it to where the Bengals play the Bills very early in the playoffs, not late, not like AFC Championship.
Yeah.
But like divisional round type things, like it's.
Yeah, but we also talked about earlier, like, how the NFL said that they're not going to continue the game or replay it, and then there's going to be possibly a coin toss and possibly a neutral site and this, that, and third. Like, and we talked about, like, my thing was, okay, it was 7-3 Bengals or Bills when it happened. I can't remember. But they could have very easily, they're not going to replay the game. They could have called it, okay, whatever team was up at that time won. I get it, not doing it. There's a lot riding on it. But they also could have called it a wash, a tie. And then, because if they would have played through double overtime and not scored, it would have been a tie. Then what would have happened? They could have done it that way.
Yeah.
There's different ways they could have done it. I just don't understand why they went the route they did. Excuse me.
Yeah, to me, like a no contest. Like,
Yeah, a tie. Just a wash,
You
a
might as well
tie.
just called it a tie and give everybody half a point at that point.
Yeah, and then figured out what the implications would have been for if they actually did run a whole tie, you know? So, I don't know, but we're not getting paid fucking, Goodell, $60 million in a private jet to make these decisions. And honestly, I think we could probably make better decisions than him getting paid $0 from the NFL.
I mean,
But
I thought before the Damar Hamlin, I would have said that. Like,
yeah, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist.
Fantasy board of guys over here would have made better decisions. Than
I'm telling you.
We're half drunk when we draft our rosters.
Right. Speaking of fantasy, I took out the W this year. I won the whole league, and yeah, it's first for me. I've taken last, second, third, so yeah, I'm pretty happy to say that. And obviously, Big Mike's in my league, so Big Mike gave me my first loss of the season, week 1, and I went on a roll and won the whole thing. But yeah.
Hey, Breece Hall, if you ever hear this shit, fuck you, kid.
No, you can't.
Not really.
It's an injury, but yes, fuck you for his season, I guess.
No, I had a really bad injury season.
Yes.
Probably my worst ever injury-wise. Like, all my big guys that I drafted early just got injured and spent a lot of seasons. Well, some of them came back, but
yeah, it wasn't really good. What do you want to move on to next?
I mean, we're sticking with the NFL. The Broncos have talked with the Saints and have permission to interview Sean Payton for head coach, since
who's still semi under contract for the Saints, right? Because he left, like a player would leave, they retire while on contract.
Yeah, so he decided to retire like partway through his contract. So any team that wants to hire Payton would have to work out some kind of compensation for the Saints. Payton has come out and said that he will only come back to coach if it is the right situation. Because he's an announcer, he's retired from coaching, and so really he can be super, super selective. Oh, yeah. Like, he doesn't have to coach.
He's getting paid good from broadcast agencies.
And so that's his thing. Is he did say that he misses it.
Oh, yeah.
But he's only coming back for the right situation. Which to me sounds like if he believes the team has a chance to win in a year or two, that's the team he comes back for. He's not going to come back to a rebuilding team.
Yeah.
If he sees a team that has potential to win a championship in the first 2 or 3 years that he's with them, I think that's the team he goes after.
I wish he'd go back to the Cowboys. He was there before the Saints. Like, Mike McCarthy's cool and all, but I wish he'd go back to the Cowboys.
And, I mean, I've seen a lot of rumors flying that wherever he goes, Tom Brady's going.
You think?
Because they tried to link up in Miami, and then they all got in trouble for
fornicating?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Whatever. What's it called? Collusion. There you go. Yeah. That's wild.
And so him and... I don't know... The crazy thing is I don't know where him and Tom got to be, like, best friends to where they're over here colluding behind the NFL and behind everybody's back to try to be on a team together.
Because they're about the same age, have the same interests. You know?
So I've heard if Sean Payton comes back, there's been talk that he goes back to the Saints and Tom Brady signs with the Saints.
That'd be crazy.
Or there's been talk that Tom Brady wants to come. He wants to really come west. That honestly,
he wants to be closer to home where he grew up.
Because he has a statement where he says he couldn't believe that they stuck with that quarterback.
I think it was talking. No, who did he allude to after?
And the
was
thing
the
is,
Raiders?
Everybody is, well, not everybody, but a lot of people have dug down.
They thought it was. They're
pretty sure it's Derek Carr that he was talking about.
I don't think, because I think he came out and actually exposed more information. I don't think it was. Sorry, that's our brother David coughing. He's sick and he's sitting in on the podcast. This loud ass over here.
I mean, really, he was either talking about Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo. He was talking about one of those two guys.
It's probably Garoppolo, because he always had a fucking.
Well, I mean, Garoppolo was his backup.
And he also fucking fucked Garoppolo over from coming to the TB12's treatment center, and you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Either way, but speaking of Derek Carr getting fucked, shit.
But yeah, I mean, so Brady wants to come west, but I don't see either one of those teams dropping their head coach to take Sean Payton on.
I don't know. Mark Davis has fucking done a lot of weird shit.
I mean, if you think about it, you get rid of Derek and you're like, I can bring in Sean Payton and Tom Brady. That sells tickets.
Well, and you saw at UFC events when Tom Brady was a free agent from when he left New England, they showed Mark Davis and Tom Brady going to UFC events in Las Vegas together, not just sitting together, coming in together, getting there together. And there was a lot of talk about, where Tom Brady's going and all this shit. And then he did make the comments about they kept that motherfucker over me. Yeah. So you're probably right. That probably was DC4, who is DC no right now, DC0, sitting on his couch watching or pouting about not playing. Stidham took over. But, I don't know. Derek Carr's got a bad shake with his career with the Raiders. He's had like 6 different head coaches. He's been fucked over a lot, but
you know what's crazy?
He also doesn't play to the extent he should.
His beginning of his career, honestly, if you look at what he's had to go through, like transition wise with coaches and stuff, and how it's been like very up and down, looks a lot like Alex Smith early on.
Oh yeah.
With the 49ers when they took Alex Smith first overall, and he had these flashes of
greatness,
and then they changed the coach.
Because he got injured through the year, and they started Kaepernick, who started winning with him. They got him off to Kansas City. He got injured. Washington. No, yeah, you're right.
Like I'm saying, he had the injury. Derek Carr had the injury. Multiple head coach, offensive coordinator changes throughout his first 2 years.
But Derek's been with the Raiders for like 10 years.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, Smith was with the Niners for like 7 or 8 years.
I don't think it was that long, was he?
Yeah, he went through like, I think it was something close.
I think it was 6 in 6. I think it was 6 years, 6 different head coaches or quarterback
5
coaches.
5 different offensive. That's what I'm saying. It's very similar. Like, and so it's like, is it time for Derek Carr just to say, hey, look, we're just not... Because eventually Alex Smith did the same thing, and he went over and he did all right in Kansas City until...
Yeah, he fucked up. But
and then he got hurt again.
Well, Derek has a no-trade clause in his contract, and then they decided to bench him because in his contract, if he gets hurt in the season, then they owe him. Everything is guaranteed. So they said they benched him so they didn't have to. They didn't say that. They said they benched him so he wouldn't get hurt, but they didn't want him to get hurt, so they didn't have to pay him.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, if you really think about it, he has a no-trade clause, which all that really means is he just gets to decide.
Yeah, if he stays or goes, or not stays because they can release him.
But yeah, like if they want to trade him, they can.
Yeah.
He just has to agree on where he goes.
Or he's going to be dropped and they'll have to pay him a lot more.
Yeah, well, I mean, they cut him. And it all depends on, there's so many different things. It depends on when they cut him. If they cut him before March 3rd on a fucking half moon,
I think
the other team will pick up this. You know how it is. Like
they have up to a week after the Super Bowl to make their final decision if they're going to cut him, is what I saw.
Oh, yeah, I know. But it's just like the crazy thing. It's always like, it's some weird stuff where it's like that. Like, you have 6 days, 4 hours, and 3 minutes to cut Derek Carr, or this much hits your cap.
Yeah, well, it's like ESPN analytics and shit during the game. Oh, did you know this player is the only player to not rush for 25 backwards yards since his uncle's dog took a shit in the neighbor's yard? Like, they're fucking analytics. They just, every game they have to give details and shit, and it's like, it's just...
Dude, so I'm going to tell you one of the most annoying things right now.
Yeah.
Is Derek Carr and Davante Adams. Only because every single game that the Raiders have played this year, the announcers have said
they went to Fresno State together.
More than once a game, they were college roommates. They went to college together. They did this at Fresno. I'm like, bro.
Broke this record. But you want to hear something crazy about that?
Bro, we know. Like, we all know this.
So that's not a Derek Carr and Davante Adams thing. That seems to be a Raiders thing, because before that, it was Max Crosby has been sober for a solid year, and he has been sobriety. He got a tattoo, the triangle tattooed on his hand. It was all about Max Crosby's sobriety.
And then
the year before, it was Darren Waller's sobriety and how he almost died off I think a alleged fentanyl overdose when he was with Baltimore, and how he changed his whole career around. So it's been Darren Waller for one whole season, Max Crosby and Darren Waller in the sobriety, and now it's Davante.
Yeah, I know it's not Derek Carr and Davante Adams' fault, but the announcers literally just like beat a dead horse.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Like, I'm like, bro, it's week 16. If we haven't heard that Davante Adams and Derek Carr played college football together, then you don't fucking watch football.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, week 1 and 2, I could see them throwing that stuff in there, sprinkling it in, getting everybody, like, who's the casual fan, you know what I mean? Like, the casual Raiders fan, like...
Yeah, but by that time in the season, especially when the Raiders are losing, like, come on.
I'm like, bro, like, week 15, 16, like, stop giving me Devontae Adams and Derek Carr stats from 8 years ago.
Right?
You know what I mean? Well, even maybe more than that now, like...
Yeah, because...
you know what I mean? Like...
Carr's been in the league for 10, I think.
That's
Dude,
what I'm
I was
saying.
roommates with my mom fucking like 20 years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or 19, I was roommates with my mom. Like, if I have a good day at work, you're not going to hear my coworker be like, did you know he was you know?
Roommates
roommates with his mom.
She made grilled cheese on Fridays? Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, fucking who cares? Holy
I'm just
shit.
like, that's one of my things, like...
It's pet peeve. It's stupid. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. I don't get it. But we'll see what happens with them from here on out, because when the team benched Derek, he couldn't even be in the facility. He hasn't been in the facility since they quote unquote benched him. And
which I find wild. Like, what? Like, okay, if you want
I don't
to
get
bench
it.
him, and Josh McDaniels' thing was...
So does he get hurt?
The young guys.
Yeah.
We want Derek Carr to stay healthy.
Stidham's not even a young guy. He's been in the league for 5 years. He was the Patriots with McDaniels. McDaniels wanted his guy the whole time. Let's be real. But why can he not be in the facility? Oh, because he could work out and tear his bleak or, lifting weights? The fuck out of here. You're protecting an asset. But when all that shit went down, Devontae Adams went on IG and was like, this is my brother. If you don't like what I'm saying, fuck you, and yada yada. There's more to it.
I mean, he literally said if Derek didn't come back, he would demand a trade.
But
he backpedaled a little bit now.
Yeah, he's saying he's going to be there. Josh Jacobs was on board with that too, and now he's saying he's going to be there. But how about Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams leading the league and all that shit? And that's not a trash can, that's recycling, dickhead. You should probably pick that shit up out of there. But they, like, Jacobs, purpose yards, like 1,651 going in the game. Devontae Adams they both broke the all-time Raiders the all-time Raiders rushing and receiving and all-purpose yards, which is fucking cool. So for Derek Carr to be a shit quarterback, he sure did put up a lot of fucking numbers with Devontae Adams and the other fucking receivers. And they said that, like, tonight watching that the game between the Raiders and the Chiefs, where the Chiefs started blowing them out, they said, this is weird. The Raiders should not get blown out this season. They have not been blown out this season. It's just, the shitty thing is, Derek Carr's not the best quarterback, but he can score 37, but if his defense scores 38, who's worse? The quarterback's putting up 37, but your defense is giving up 38 fucking points. And every fucking game, he's come out with, the offense has done big numbers in the first half. The defense has given up bigger. So let's not address the fucking defense, the elephant in the room, and make it better. Let's just throw the quarterback under the bus.
Hey, if Josh McDaniels just goes back to, like, his
cheating,
his beginning with the Broncos,
cheating.
Because I saw a thing.
He's not a good coach. He's a fucking through and through cheater.
Oh, I know. I saw
Watch the Raw Room podcast where his ex-players talked about going 8-0 and then going to their bye week, and then he got caught for cheating, and they were like, "Dude, we're gonna go to the playoffs. We're gonna kill everything." They came back and they won fucking the next 6 of 8. Or I mean, they lost the next 6 of 8, and he said, fuck, we weren't good. We were fucking cheating the whole time. And Josh McDaniels lasted half a season. He was under Belichick as a coordinator in New England. Went to the Broncos, lasted half a season, got caught for cheating from his childhood friend, recording fucking training or practices because the Broncos and then 49ers had to share a facility at the time. He got caught. That's his dude. It's a childhood friend. And then he got fired, and the Broncos lost 6 of 8 after that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They weren't good. They were fucking cheating. And then McDaniels went back to the fucking Patriots and did it the Cheatriot way the whole time.
Dude, I was gonna bring that because they literally said McDaniels he would give them like
Oh, dude, he was detailed.
legit details.
If he does this and hooks this way, you do this. If you don't, it's a touchdown. If you do, it's an interception.
Yeah. And
shout out to the Raw Room on YouTube.
Like, these players literally were like, "Man, this guy's a genius."
Yeah.
All this shit, and then like you said, they hit that bye week and he got busted for filming, and then they got smacked in the mouth, and they're like, "Hey, bro, we ain't that good.
We were never that good. We were cheating." McDaniels, I've never liked him as a coach. As a head coach, I don't remember him too much as a Broncos coach, besides the cheating. But as a Raiders coach, and my wife's a die-hard Raiders fan, so we watch every game just like we do the Cowboys. I'm a Cowboys fan. Cowboys. But anyways, I don't like McDaniels.
I'm surprised he got another head coaching job.
He should have been blackballed.
I mean, Belichick's not blackballed.
But do you not agree though? If your quarterback's putting up 35, 30 points, but your defense lets fucking 32 points be scored, who's more at fault?
Well, I mean, it's the exact opposite of what the fucking Broncos have gone through this year.
Yeah.
The defense is literally like the top three in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
and then the offense is over here averaging fucking 4 points a game.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, who's to blame at that point?
The offense.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but you know what I'm saying? I mean, they've never fucking addressed the elephant in the room for the Raiders, which their defense, after halftime, like, offense comes out, makes adjustments, and does good. Defense goes in there and, like, smokes the fucking blunt and says, fuck it, we got the W. And so, oh, shit, what's that? It's a touchdown? The fuck? Yeah. So you can't hold Derek Carr on the chopping block with everything.
I mean, you can't put everything on him. And I feel like with Derek Carr, it's one of those things where he's kind of ran his course.
Yeah.
In Raiders.
Most Raiders fans want to see him gone.
Whether he's been good or bad, whatever we want to throw on the table, he hasn't been terrible. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at the out of 32 starters in the NFL, he's got to rank top 10.
Yeah, his numbers do.
You know what I mean? I would say top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe it's obviously going to be super low top 10.
Yeah, but still.
Like, if you think about it, you got, like, this year alone, you got Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Dak.
And Dak is low top 10.
That's what I'm saying.
But still, yeah.
You got Hurts that's balling out. Kirk Cousins is somehow,
yeah,
doing his thing. Like, and then you got fucking 32 quarterbacks. Like, Derek Carr, top 10. And like I said, 9 maybe.
It'd just be crazy, like, if they do trade him or he does leave in free agency to another team and comes out and fucking balls the fuck out, like MJ with his tongue out. I'm gonna be like, told you so.
Well, and sometimes
that's what you need. A new team, new chemistry.
Yeah, exactly.
New number, like, who it is.
Again, back with Alex Smith. When he left and went to Kansas City, balled out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When he went to Redskins, Commanders, football team,
whatever the fuck they are anymore.
Balled out for a little bit, and then, I mean, he had that horrific leg injury.
Yeah, almost died.
But that's the thing. Sometimes a little scenery change.
Yeah.
It could be Derek Carr goes from this instability when it comes to the coaching staff because, I mean, there's nothing. You can't argue the instability. What has he had? 7 different head coaches or something?
He's
like
had
that?
a lot.
Like, he could go to a place, Tennessee maybe.
Yeah.
They need a quarterback.
Tannehill did good when he left Miami and went there.
That's what I'm saying. Tennessee needs a quarterback, and they're pretty stable there.
Yeah.
Like, with their organization.
Got a good run game.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying that's where he's going, but I'm saying if he could find a place where there's some stability in the organization, maybe he's successful.
I agree. So we'll see what happens. But
I mean, I feel like that's going to be a very dramatic offseason.
Oh, dude, that's going to be the news of the offseason, is if they're going to keep him, let him go, where he's going, and how it's going to work out.
Oh, it's going to be literally, especially, like, obviously the Raiders aren't in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be the whole talk for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, there's no...
Yeah.
It's literally going to be from now until we find out.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's just going to be...
But quarterback, NFL quarterback-wise, you know one of my favorite people in the NFL is? Just because how they are when they're not, like, when they're off field. Aaron Rodgers. I fucking like that guy. I mean, given he grew up fucking, 40 miles from us in Chico, like, balled out there, went to Butte, then went to Cal, then made the NFL. I just like him as a person. Like, he don't give a fuck. He's at that. He's like one of those old dudes that I've served my country. I put in my time. I say what I want. Fuck y'all.
Well, the thing is, like...
He does mushrooms and smokes weed in the offseason and admits it and doesn't give a fuck. Lied about being vaccinated and shit.
Well, you know how we talk about multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
How Tom Brady, when he was with the Patriots, like, didn't say much. There was no personality, kind of like under Belichick's reign, blah, 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 whatever. And he's kind of blossomed out and started saying whatever the fuck he wants, doing whatever the fuck he wants. Rodgers has always had more flair, obviously. But Rodgers, until the last couple years, wasn't just being outlandish and just saying whatever the fuck he wants. You know what I mean?
Lightweight, but not like what he is now.
No, now he's just like, bro, I'm out here microdosing. Fuck your couch, bro.
Yeah, right? Test me. I can get away with it.
He really doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no fucks given. And a Twitter reporter...
He reminds me, when you, work at a place forever, and there's this dude that's been here for 30 years, and the manager's like, hey, I need you to do this, and he's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Look,
and the manager's just like...
My bad.
My bad, I'll get someone else to do it?
Yeah.
That's Aaron Rodgers right now, because he's saying all this shit, and Goodell's just, silent, bro. There's nothing coming out of Goodell.
Yeah.
Rodgers is like, yeah, I'm over here banging fucking heroin. And Goodell's like...
Stupid.
Goodell's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, okay. We don't need you, Sider, to check him or whoever does.
Dude's like, I'm microdosing. Haven't been tested all year.
Doesn't give a fuck. He's earned his time. Let him be. That's Grandpa. He's fine.
Dude,
but,
that's what I'm saying.
Dude, he's dating the fucking the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks' daughter. And she looks young. I'm going to look it up. Let me go ahead and hold this for a minute while I...
So my thing is just, he's literally just out here doing his thing. Literally, like that old guy at work that nobody fucks with. The old man just says crazy stories back in my day.
Right.
He don't give just fucking takes it as fucking gospel, bro.
Let's see, how old is she? She where is it? Go ahead and keep this conversation going while I figure this out.
But
her name's Mallory Edens. Her dad owns the Milwaukee Bucks. She looks younger. It looks like she's a model.
But the Packers at this point, they've been on a
tear, bro.
A tear to end the season. But really, what they have to beat.
She's 26. She's a fucking supermodel, bro. And Aaron Rodgers looks aged as shit.
He really has aged really rough the last year and a half.
Dude, this is her daughter or his daughter. That's his girlfriend. He dated Danica Patrick. He dated Olivia, the actress. Olivia. Oh my God. What? Not Wilde, is it? This man, he's like Leonardo DiCaprio of the sports world. Oh, wait, you're 25? Oh, can't date you.
Right, your birthday is the goodbye.
Yeah, no shit.
But
good for him.
Yeah,
Northern California boy.
Yeah, it's looking like they have to beat the Lions, and then the Seahawks have to lose to the Rams for the Packers to make it in.
You know what's fucked up? The football gods will shine on him. That'll probably happen.
Nah, according to all the conspiracy theorists, it's not football gods anymore.
Who is it?
Because the NFL is registered as an entertainment company.
Oh,
so
God.
None of their games have to be legit. They can all be rigged. That's
if you're licensed as an entertainment facility or whatever, that can be.
Yeah,
but
so
that would make a lot of sense to why my Cowboys haven't won shit since the 90s. That's it. Okay, I got some clarification right now as a Cowboys fan. This shit is rigged, and we can't get a fair shake. Is McMahon behind it? Is he pulling the strings? Because this is bullshit. I don't know. But as a Cowboys fan, I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now. I just hope we don't see the 49ers or the Packers in the playoffs. I hope we don't have to play anybody in the playoffs. To be honest,
to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, just let us win it right now because
We'll coin toss this.
you're right. The playoffs are not our forte.
Playoffs.
They haven't been for a long time. And I think it's not. Fuck you. Fuck you. It's not the Packers that have our number. It's not the 49ers. It's the playoffs that have our number. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But with that, with NFL news still, Peyton Hillis, you know more about that than I do. Do you want to address that? What a fucking hero.
Yeah, I mean, so him and his family were at the beach, kids were swimming, and his kids started drowning. And he jumped in and
Saved their lives.
He saved his kids' lives. I don't know how many of them there were. His kids are perfectly fine, like out of the hospital, everything.
Daddy's a hero.
But Peyton Hillis is, last I saw, he was in critical condition because he had started to drown, saving them.
They were working on him on the beach on like a flatboard doing CPR on him.
Yeah, so for a lot of people that don't know Peyton Hillis,
he was the Madden fucking what?
He was a one season wonder where he was like a fullback.
He was not a running back. Like it was considered, yes. A fullback is the one who usually blocks.
He was like a fullback guy that they gave the ball to.
Like an all-star almost. He was built like an all-star, like a Mike All-Star for the Buccaneers back in the 90s.
And he ran the ball crazy for a year and then
made the Madden cover,
and then
which was fucking wild. He still hung around and had a career for a few more years.
He went from being like...
But he was supposed to be nothing.
Yeah. Played for the Browns for a while.
Big motherfucker, too.
And so, hopefully a speedy recovery, because...
Yeah, hopefully recovery in general. Shit, it's sad. But, true hero. And if, God forbid, he does go, I mean, or doesn't, whatever, at least his kids will always know he was a fucking hero. He saved their lives, for sure. On the same sentiment of, kind of tragedy, Ken Block, dude. That shit hurt my fucking heart, reading about Ken Block's passing. And for those of you who don't know, Ken Block is the co-founder / co-owner of DC Shoes and Apparel. He is a supercross, motocross champion. He's a skateboarding champion. He's a rallycross champion. And more lately than ever, he's been doing a series called Gymkhana, where he's had these crazy race cars built, and they've shut down literal cities, and he's drifted and done crazy tricks through them in cars. And he did it through San Francisco. He jumped the hills of San Francisco, drifted areas of San Francisco that we've been. His newest one was Electricana, where he had an all-electric Audi supercar they built, and they shut down Las Vegas, and he drifted all through Las Vegas, in parking garages, down the Strip. Everything was shut down, through casinos, all that shit. But he was out with a group of people on January 2nd, snowmobiling in Wasatch County, Utah, which is not far from where we used to live in Utah. And he was riding with the group and then kind of went off from the group. And I guess the reports are kind of sketch from what I've seen. Went down a steep embankment and flipped his snowmobile. I think possibly hit a tree. And when his group found him, which wasn't too long after, the snowmobile was on top of him and he was pronounced dead on the scene. He was 55 years old. He had 3 kids and a wife. And he had just got his youngest daughter, is it Lily, I think? Anyways, she's 16 now. He got her into racing his supercars, and she was balling out, killing people, poor choice of words. Destroying people racing, and she posted on IG about how not only her dad, her best friend is gone, and it's a sad situation. Like, if anybody knows, like, motorsports world, Ken Block is a fucking huge figure in that world. And I mean, if you look on YouTube, look up Gymkhana or whatever, look up Ken Block, and you'll be stupefied and amazed by the things that he's done. So,
Yeah, and to be honest, like you said, he's 55. Like
he's young, man.
Well, I'm just saying, looking back, like I would, like, and if you were like, "Hey, how old's Ken Block?" If you asked,
I would have never thought he was 55.
That's what I'm
I thought
saying.
he was in his 40s, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, man, he can't be that much older than me. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm 37. I thought he was in his 40s, to be honest. And look how much he's accomplished, though. Owning, I mean, DC is a billion-dollar company, is it not? I would think. Sponsored by Monster, he was sponsored by Ford, and then he went to Subaru, and then recently he was with Audi. Like, crazy. He's done more shit in his 55 years of life than me, you, and David here in the room will do in our whole lives put together. And he went out, unfortunately he died, but he died doing what he loves. Yeah. Like, we were talking about, you saw the videos he posted. What did he say about a snowmobile?
Oh,
it was like he was on his.
It was like the first day of riding it. And he was like, "I stay at 12 or something like that." Is what it was.
Which means the front end of the snowmobile is straight up in the air. He's riding wheelies, basically. Sad situation. It was straight up and down, 90-degree angle.
Yeah, and
how do you hang on to that shit like that?
I don't know. He was stoked to have it because it was like a turbo.
Oh yeah.
The thing was built.
Custom built, sponsored by Monster. All that shit. It's just a sad situation. I feel really bad for his family, Like, I know how, like, I could see how close him and his daughter were, and then it shows after he passed in her, her social media posts. It's sad, man. Really sad. But anyways, what do you want to move on
to? We got the NFL awards. Obviously, they'll be coming up. Everybody's arguing on who's going to win what. Right now, front runners are Patrick Mahomes for MVP. He's
always front runner.
He's negative. If you're a betting person, he's a negative 1,200 to win MVP. Like that.
That's
they
crazy.
Take your money just if he wins. Like.
Yeah, if you bet for him to win and he wins, you probably won't see a return.
You owe them money, bro.
Yeah, probably. Because there's no spread, no point spread like a game. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. And then offensive rookie is Kenneth Walker, running back. Brock Purdy's kind of coming up in that a little bit. I don't think he'll win just because he hasn't played enough.
Yeah. Who's Kenneth Walker playing for?
Kenneth Walker's a running back. I want to say Lions, but I could be wrong.
No, I don't think it was Lions.
He's going to end the season with over 1,000 rushing yards, most likely.
That's what's up.
With double-digit touchdowns.
Damn.
And then Coach of the Year would be Brian Daboll. It's the Eagles.
Fuck the Eagles.
Head coach, which, with the way they've been playing, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, the Cowboys, they lose tomorrow. Cowboys going to win. Belichick's still in the running for Coach of the Year. What? Really? Get the fuck. What? Who put this on? Like, what site is this?
New York Post.
Damn it.
Comeback Player of the Year, Geno Smith.
Yeah, that I can understand.
That makes sense. Christian McCaffrey is right behind him.
Yeah, because he was injured all last year.
Saquon is also in that list.
Saquon bought out. I think Geno should win it, though. I still think Micah Parsons should win Defense Player of the Year. But I understand what you said earlier.
Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he broke records.
Yeah, he's been killing it. And then defensive player, they say the favorite is Nick Bosa. They said it says Micah Parsons was up there for most of the season, but the Cowboys defense has.
But so how does that work though? If he's up there for the majority of the season, how does somebody overtake that if they're doing as good as he did for the majority of the season? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it who's doing better at the end of the season?
Well, they're saying Nick Bosa's been consistent. Because that Niners defense has been consistent.
But if he was consistent, then he should have been there since the beginning.
Well, he probably was. That's what I'm saying. It could have been him and Parsons the whole season.
Yeah.
And then now the defense...
They need to explain it better is what I'm getting at, So, I don't know. We'll see.
And then Sauce Gardner for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He's the highest ranked corner in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
As a rookie.
Yeah.
And...
who names your kid Sauce? I'm sure it's not his biological name. Like Ja Morant is not actually Ja.
Well, his name is Ahmad.
Okay.
Sauce is
This
just
is his nickname.
And he goes out, he uses Sauce.
Like Debo is not Debo Samuel. Debo's not his biological name. That's just a nickname.
Yeah.
It's Juju. Is Jonathan. Was it John Johnson?
Who, Juju?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Or no, it was John Smith. And then his stepdad actually raised him, not his biological, who was Schuster. So he took the hyphenated Schuster. So it was John Smith Schuster. But so he goes by Juju. It's his nickname he was given when he was young.
And so...
What a fucking white bread name, John Smith. Isn't that crazy? It sounds like Pocahontas and John Smith.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
And Sauce... I mean, he's turned it into working with Buffalo
He's
Wild
saucy as fuck, though. I mean, when you think of... Or you think urban shit, you think, he got the sauce.
Yeah.
He's swag, No, I mean, it works. But
And
that's
so-
smart. You capitalize on that shit, my guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, have you seen Buffalo Wild Wings commercials?
I haven't,
Man's been all over it.
of course.
Because he's the sauce.
He's got the sauce.
Yeah, he's been killing it. And supposedly, I saw a thing that said he was originally credited with only giving up 2 touchdowns so far this
That's what you
season.
were telling me earlier.
One of them was taken away, saying that it wasn't on him because it was him actually trying to help a teammate because it wasn't his zone. You can literally clearly watch him go to take the flat and then see what the quarterback's doing and leaves his flat to try to bail out a teammate that messed up. And then one of them, it's a very similar kind of situation, but the pro football guys that have the stats or whatever still say that there's 1 touchdown that Sauce Gardner's allowed for. I mean, but for
Either way, though, rookie cornerback is probably the hardest position to play in
to
the
be
league.
ranked the top corner in the league
As a rookie.
and only give up 1 touchdown.
As a rookie.
You're winning. You're winning
Yeah.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I would hope, yeah.
And to be honest, you might actually get some votes for
Defensive player of the year, yep. And
Right.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Cornerback is the hardest position to play. Defensive back? Corner, yes.
Speaking of cheating coaches, I know we talked about it a minute ago. Jim Harbaugh and Michigan are both being sanctioned by the NCAA. The main sanction, well, I shouldn't say the main. The original sanction was because during the COVID restrictions, they had too many coaches physically on the field.
Why is it just getting brought up now, though,
Well, I think it's coming to light because now they're hitting them with the level 1 violation, which we talked about is the highest level you can be sanctioned by the almighty NCAA. And it has to do with him misleading the investigators in the original violation.
Yeah.
So he violated, him and Michigan. And when they came to him and said, hey, did you do this or blah, 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 he was like,
Yeah.
maybe we did, maybe we didn't.
Yeah. Misleading, not denying. He didn't lie to them. He just misled them.
They're
It's
like
like
how
a
many
white
people do
lie.
you have on the field? I don't know.
Yeah. You had too many coaches.
Yeah, so it could end up with him being suspended, depending on what they go with. But I've also heard that he's a front runner for the Broncos job at head coach.
Here, suspend me, bitch. I'm out.
Like,
Hey, wait, hold on. With players, NCAA suspensions have carried over in the NFL before.
Terrell Pryor.
Yeah,
When he became when he
signing autographs for tattoos, giving away bowl gear.
Yeah, he ended up getting suspended for like a couple games when
That's
he was with the
such
Raiders.
bullshit, dude. The NFL should say fuck you.
Well, that's the thing is, like, if they don't want anything to do, like, their players can't do anything with professional, well, it's changed a little now.
Yeah.
Can't make money. As soon as they turn professional, you should have no control over them.
Shouldn't. It's like if my kid turns 18 here and he moves out, like, I can't ground him at his new apartment when he's got his own job and doing his own shit. The fuck? Like, nope, remember that? You didn't do your chores? You're still grounded for the first 2 weeks. He'd be like, fuck you.
He said,
and I'd punch him in his shit. No, I'm playing. You know what I'm saying?
Not
Like,
playing, no.
that shit doesn't make any fucking sense. But of course, it'd be a Raiders team that, you know, or Goodell. That shit's so dumb, bro.
And so, I guess we'll see how it plays out. I mean, he could not come back. He's at the point where he's the same thing as Sean Payton, where it's like...
He don't give a fuck, dude.
Jim's like, if there's a team that really looks like I could help him, he's not going to go to a rebuilding team.
Yeah.
Because he can just make his money.
Both.
He could just make his money in college.
Yeah, and he's coaching fucking Michigan.
Michigan
you know,
gets beat by didn't TCU just beat him?
I don't know. I don't follow college like that.
Michigan got beat, and they were asked how they got beat by a team that's not blue blood, because like Michigan's like old school, like been around forever, and the quarterback was
at TCU's Texas Christian University, and they're the Horny Frogs.
The Horny Frogs.
They're horny as fuck. They're coming in. They're coming in and fucking everything.
That's where LT went.
They're fucking everything.
Other than that, I mean, if you think about it, like, can you think of any other big names that came out of TCU?
Nah. Deion Sanders Jr. Deion Jr. went there, but didn't do shit. The kick returner, punt returner for the Cowboys right now, oh my, Turpin, dude, he went there, led the league, and fucking won records for returns and wide receiver, and then he didn't get drafted. Went to the American Football League,
the USFL.
Yeah, USFL, and he won MVP and return specialist of the year. Then the Cowboys, picked him up.
So here's the top 10.
And he's fucking dope.
All-time NFL players to come out of TCU.
Even the computer's like,
Philip Epps is number 10. He was
1982,
drafted in the 12th round by the Packers. He played 7 seasons, and then for the Packers, and then 1 season for the Jets. Kenneth Davis, running back, 1986, second round. The Packers must love TCU.
I guess, shit.
He played 3 seasons for the Packers and then 6 for the Bills. He was a member of the Bills when the team advanced to 4 consecutive Super Bowls.
Lost them all. What? 2 of those were the Cowboys.
Larry Brown, defensive back. 1991, he was drafted to the Dallas Cowboys. He played 6 seasons for the Cowboys, 2 for the Raiders. He was a member of the 3 Cowboys Super Bowl winning teams.
Yeah.
And he was the MVP for a Super Bowl. Super Bowl 30. Lyle Blackwood, defensive back, 1973. Drafted by the Denver Broncos. He never played for the Broncos.
Damn.
He played 3 seasons for the Bengals. 1 season. He was a member of 2 Dolphins teams that advanced to the Super Bowls.
With Joe Montana? I'm sorry, Joe Montana. Fuck. Dan Marino. What the fuck? I had to be
Greg Townsend, defensive lineman.
I know the name.
For the Raiders.
It's probably
played 12 seasons for the Raiders. He's a member of the team that won Super Bowl, 2-time Pro Bowl. Andy Dalton was a TCU guy.
Really?
I actually totally spaced that. Did all right early on and then kind of shit the bed. Aaron Schobel is a defensive end he was drafted by the Bills. Played for the Bills, 2-time Pro Bowler. But Danian Thomason here.
Yeah.
This is the he's only ranked third best TCU player in the NFL.
Larry Brown ranked higher.
So I want to see who's higher than this because this is the biggest name that I can personally think of that came out of TCU.
Okay.
And we all know if you don't know who LaDainian Tomlinson is.
Yeah, Chargers fucking Hall of Famer.
The one quote I love from him is the reason that he wears the dark visor is because he closed his eyes when hits were coming.
He didn't want
And
people
he
to
didn't
see
want
his
people
weakness.
to know that he could close his eyes. Also, the reason he never danced in the end zone because his mom said from a young age that if he ever showboated in the end zone, she was going to beat his butt.
Let's see,
Beat his butt.
Emmitt Smith, same thing. He handed the ball to the
And
ref
so
because
he
his
literally, LT, the only thing he ever did was this.
Yep.
And just let the ball, okay, no, you can't see, but he would just extend his arm and let the ball go. That was it.
Emmitt Smith, he got down on the knee and prayed because his mom told him the same thing. But LT also rushed for like 400 and something yards in the game. And I think it was that record was beat more recently. Not recently, but more recently, within like the last 7 years, 8 years, I think.
So number 2 is Bob Lilly,
Okay.
defensive lineman from 1961.
Mm-hmm.
He was drafted in the first round by the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
He played 14 seasons for the Cowboys.
I know Bob Lilly.
And
I've
he
heard
was
of him.
a member of 3 Cowboys teams that reached the Super Bowl with 1 Super Bowl win. He was an 11-time Pro Bowler
Yeah.
and was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, so and then the number 1 player that came out of TCU, I did not know this guy played for TCU.
Who?
Sammy Baugh.
Shut up.
Yeah, he was a quarterback / defensive back.
Yeah, back in like the 60s or 70s.
37.
Shut up.
That's when he was drafted in the NFL, 1937.
But how is he better than LT?
He was drafted to the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, no, that's taboo. Don't say that word.
He played 16 seasons for them. He led them to 5 NFL championship games,
Before Super Bowls, yeah.
Winning-
Before the merger.
winning 2 of them. He was 6-time Pro Bowl selection, and he was a charter member. So one of the first members into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, so like he had like an Amex card?
So, honestly, I didn't know Sammy Baugh played for TCU. So.
I vaguely know the name. I'm
He's-
not going to
he's
sit
like
here
one-
and lie and say I know who the fuck you're talking about.
He's one of those
It's a-
leatherhead
it's-
quarterbacks
yeah.
back in
Yeah.
the day when it was
I
Iron
know
Man.
the name and I know it was old. That's why I was like 60s and it was 30 years
I didn't
before
realize
that.
it was 37,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, and honestly, and again, I don't know Sammy Baugh well enough to know that he played for TCU.
I guess LT never won a Super Bowl or anything like that, so that could affect.
I
why
mean,
he
but
was
he's
up there.
way up there on
Yeah.
the rushing yards list.
Yeah, he's like, isn't he like top 5?
I love how my laptop here.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about LaDainian so much that
It
I
picks
type
it
in
up.
L, and it's like LaDainian Tomlinson. And I'm
Government,
like,
dude. Government. They're watching. They're listening to our pod. Thank you for being supporters of our podcast.
right?
I typed in mine and said Larry Ball Rebluff.
So he retired with 13,684 yards. Fifth
I said top 5.
in. I think he still holds the record though for most rushing touchdowns in a season.
Was that like 19?
I think it's like 20.
He's 43 years old right now.
28. That's what it is. Yeah.
Shit!
28. one
Holy
season.
fuck! Look at his rushing yards in college. He held it was I think it was 392 rushing yards in one game, and it got beat. I think Derrick Henry put up like 600 in one game.
Yeah. So in 2006.
That was high school for Derrick Henry, I believe.
2006. LaDainian Tomlinson put 28 rushing touchdowns with 1,815 yards on the season.
God
Averaging
damn.
5.2 yards a carry.
Jesus
And
Christ.
113 yards a game. Sean Alexander, Priest Holmes are both behind him with 27 touchdowns.
Gotcha.
So 28. Think about it. It's 16. That's almost 2 touchdowns a game.
Yeah, that's crazy. His career statistics 13,684 rushing yards, 4.3 yards a carry on his career. That's fucking ridiculous. 145 rushing touchdowns, 624 receptions for 4,772 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns for receptions.
Yeah.
That's, dude, what the fuck? He's way lower on that than he should have been.
Well, back when he played, running backs were less receivers than they are now.
Absolutely.
Now you got guys like Christian McCaffrey who can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Tony Pollard and shit. Yeah, Josh Jacobs. So I watched the whole ESPN or NFL Network thing, and LaDainian Tomlinson's from that area of Texas where TCU's at. Well, he's from like the sticks.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one where he goes back with what are the people that look up your history, your and ancestry and shit?
Like.
Well, they're from a plantation down there. Like his great grandparent was a slave. Like that's how recent to him it was.
Yeah.
And they have a Tomlinson plantation. So his original name, he's a Tomlinson because the owners of his ancestors were the Tomlinsons. The white people were Tomlinsons, and that's how they got their name.
Yeah.
And he went back to the plantation where he grew up on the plantation still. Like he was raised there in the sticks, and he still got like his uncles and shit and that shit was like hella moving to see, you know?
Yeah.
The shit was crazy.
But speaking of TCU, and this is where I was trying to head with this a little bit, is Max Duggan, the quarterback for TCU, who's going to be playing in a national championship game.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier.
He was on the fence about going back for a 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of TCU was trying to get him with the NIL stuff, make some money, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. They were trying to throw the farm at him to keep him there.
Yeah, and he was thinking maybe I'd try for the draft, blah, 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 back and forth. And the offensive coordinator for TCU said they think they would have had him if it wasn't for this one phone call that came from a Dallas Cowboy member of their scouting thing that I guess laid it out for Max. And they didn't say, hey, you're going to go first round, nothing. They gave him the truth. They said, look, you're going to go late day 2, maybe day 3. And they said there's a potential that you don't get drafted.
Yeah.
But late day 2, day 3 is kind of where you're going to go. And I guess they laid out some other things for him. And after that phone call, he was dead set on going to the draft.
And we talked about this earlier. He could go back for his 5th year, and the team could shit the bed. He could get injured, and he could get non-drafted.
Like we talked about, he could get injured. That's the forefront. But if we look at TCU last year, they're 3-8.
Yeah.
With him at quarterback.
Yep.
This year, they're in a national championship game.
That's the Super Bowl for the college against Georgia, the Bulldogs.
Like, if win or lose, if he shits the bed and throws 4 picks or just
and no
shits
touchdowns,
the bed, it's not going to look good. But if there's a dog fight between TCU and Georgia and he looks halfway decent and all this other stuff, he's literally like going to the draft. That's pretty much the highest point that he can go.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
unless he wins, like if they go out and they win and he plays well, that's the
because TCU should not win. They shouldn't be there at all, and they definitely shouldn't win. Didn't Georgia win it last year too against like Alabama?
Probably. I'm
pretty sure that Georgia won it last year, or they were in the final of the championship game, but. TCU, this is like you said earlier, a flash in the pan. They shouldn't even be here.
Yeah, Georgia beat Alabama 33-18 last year.
Yeah. So TCU should not even be here. Georgia won it last year. They're defending champs. They're coming back. If they win and he has a stellar game, he might go from 2nd or 3rd round maybe to late 1st or earlier 2nd, probably not 3rd if he has a stellar game. So his future rides on this big game a lot if he's entering the draft, you know?
Well, like I said, I mean, win or lose,
It's a win
probably
for
going to be
him.
the highest point of his
Win or
draft.
lose, it's a win for him.
And the crazy thing is, we talk about TCU went from 3-8 to a national championship, and everybody in your mind, you're like, oh, they must have recruited really well. Blah, blah,
No.
blah.
Same bulk of the same players, huh?
They had mainly the same players, and they had their recruiting class was only ranked 18th nationally.
That's crazy.
So it's not like they brought in like all these top-rated 5-stars to ball out. So I don't know what happened between 3-8 and national championship, but
Start eating their Wheaties.
I respect it.
And TCU is a newer college, too. I'm not saying new. It's a newer college. It hasn't been around that long. Let me see.
It's been around since before 1937.
Oh, shit, you're right. I'm thinking of a different... Yeah, fuck, my bad. I'm thinking of a whole different school then. That's crazy.
But continue with college. We have... I have 2 more college stories. We got the tight end from Oregon who's on his 9th year of eligibility.
That's fucking wild, dude.
9th year. I mean, really, the fact that Oregon, and take this how you want, the fact that they still kept him on the squad,
Means he's got something.
he's got locker room or something, because
Yeah.
his stats do not sway me. With the things I've seen, like one season he had 9 catches for 64 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's like that was last season. It was his first
Full season.
full season of being healthy. He was granted his 9th year of eligibility. So this coming fall, 2023, he will play his final. I'm gonna put quotes on it because
Yeah.
who knows, his final year as a college player, and hopefully he can make the leap where he gets a chance at the NFL.
Or gets a degree. Fuck. He better have like 3 of
I
them.
would say he's got to at least have 2 at this point.
This year reminds me of Van Wilder.
He's like, you better be a doctor by now.
Right? Have his PhD and shit.
And then I guess the crazier story. I don't know if it's crazier, but LSU has a sex scandal.
Yeah, an S-word scandal.
Where
Choo choo.
they're literally one of the best wide receivers in the nation, and his wide receiver coach and 4 other staff members, so it's a total of at least 6 people
Fuck, dude.
hooked up with the player or the what was she,
Their scouting
the recruiting director. And
All I can say is choo choo.
yeah,
If y'all get the drift. If not, Google what a train is with the S word involved.
yeah, because man,
They took turns and
or not, they might have gone together. I don't know what was happening.
Damn. Well,
What did that video we were watching? What did they call it?
which video we were watching? Hold on, bro.
When
Don't
the guy was talking
implicate
about
me
it.
and shit.
No, when the guy was talking about it before, what did he call it?
I don't remember.
Hot
But-
soup kitchen.
Yeah. Dirty Mike and the boys.
Yeah.
Right?
Either way, there was a lot of porcupining going on. Allegedly. But what's coming from that? It's just, it broke. Did she report it? Is she suing?
No, I saw some text. There was some screenshots of text messages supposedly that came out. But again, to me, it's like the Celtics head coach all over again.
EK?
That was consensual. If this was consensual, everybody was
what the
over
fuck
18.
is the problem? Yeah, if they had a mass sexual relation,
That's
what is
not
the
illegal.
problem? It's legal.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing whether you personally you think it's cool or you don't like it or whatever.
Unholy. One female and 6 males.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's her choosing, her body, her choice, right?
Exactly. And it's just one of those things where, like, it goes back to the Celtics head coach. I don't see why he got in trouble at all.
He shouldn't have been, not by the NBA standard, but they're saying it's because she was in the front office and she was their logistics person. And I could see, like, okay, where you work or
Well, I'm saying,
you
yeah,
can't
if
fraternize.
you're superior,
Well, he's the head coach and she is the travel arranger or whatever.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if
So yeah, it's fraternizing.
yeah, see, I get it, but it went. He's getting suspended by the NBA and all this other.
Well, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been the NBA decision. It should have been the organization's.
And that's an organization thing where.
Conduct detrimental, or something.
But the thing was, it went so much, and well, this receiver, well, like we said, NCAA has superpowers. They can do whatever they want. He's declared for the draft, so he's not coming back to LSU.
Well, yeah. Let's see if he's suspended by whoever.
That's what I'm saying. Like
only if he gets drafted to the Raiders, right?
Not the Patriots, bro. They'll delete everything. There won't
Right.
be no sex scandal no more.
Shit, Belichick would be like, I wasn't involved in that. Robert Kraft would have been like, I was there. I was just getting a massage. No, that's...
Me and Deshaun Watson.
No shit. I wonder if they share a buddy pass for massages. He's like, aw.
The only thing I have left is finally we potentially can see Trevor Bauer in the MLB again.
I got a few more things left, but those are like fast points.
Yeah, he's
We discussed Trevor Bauer way earlier in the
Yeah.
in the life of this, or the infancy of the podcast. He is a Cy Young winning
stud,
one of the best, top 3 in the MLB.
Also one of the weirdest and craziest, like the stuff that he does.
It's nothing illegal. Just does random odd shit.
Yeah,
He's like nerdy and all that, but he was. We talked about this on the podcast. He was accused of sexual assault also by a female that said that he had beat her up, bit her, chewed her up, whatever during their relations, and there's a lot of evidence on the contrary.
Yeah.
And he was never charged legally with this, and she's still making allegations. And I mean, we started talking about this in the infancy of this podcast, and this is we're a year and a half, almost 2 years into the podcast, and yes, we've missed a lot of time with work schedules, and I wanted to address it earlier that we missed a lot of time, but nonetheless, we talked about that towards the beginning.
Before there was a ton of information.
Yeah, there was just text messages and what the news was reporting.
Yeah.
But he just released a video, or his attorneys released a video that came from her phone that they subpoenaed just a couple days ago, where she had said all this shit had happened, all this sexual assault and abuse had happened, but this video is from hours after she claimed it happened, of her laying in bed with him sleeping, and she's smiling, taking a selfie video, showing herself, biting her lip, like in an explicit manner, and everything looks fine. And his team released this, and he's saying, look, this is showing that she has no bruises, no marks, and if I had done these things hours earlier, why would she still be there and be happy while I'm sleeping, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, then you tell the ramifications of MLB and all that.
Yeah, so he's been suspended for a record setting. Like, no one's been suspended as long as he's been suspended.
2 seasons, right?
Yeah, he hasn't seen the field in forever, and so the Dodgers...
He got reinstated today.
The Dodgers decided today that they... he got reinstated on December 22nd.
Oh, was it? My bad.
But today was their deadline to decide... Well, Friday, so not today. January 6th was their deadline to decide what they want to do with him. Because if they kept him, if they didn't decide by Friday, then he was on their roster, blah, blah, blah. And so they believe that they should just move on from him. They want to distance themselves.
And he's had issues with other players in his own club. Fights and shit.
Yeah, because some of the things he does
rub people the wrong way, yeah.
One of the things that he does that pisses off catchers is he likes to, when he's warming up for a game, His last thing he likes to do is pretty much throw as hard as he can, like not on the mound. Like he comes running from behind the mound and just throws the ball as hard as he can at the catcher. Like, nobody knows why, but it's part of his warm-up
Like
routine.
an OCD.
And catchers hate it.
Yeah.
Because he can already throw so fast in a normal pitching
Stance,
motion.
yeah.
When you get a few steps
Velocity
in front of it,
behind it.
and it's reckless.
And just he's very abrasive with his personality too.
And so
Very abrasive. From what teammates and ex teammates have said. He's gotten fistfights in the dugout with ex teammates.
So originally, commissioner of the MLB suspended Bauer for 324 games.
That's fucking wild.
It's the longest suspension in MLB history for.
That's two seasons, right? 182 plus 182 would be what?
364.
Oh.
So he essentially two. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to come back and play 40 games.
Yeah. Well, why pick that number of games? I don't understand. Maybe he had already played the first whatever, and those were the remaining for 2 years.
Yeah, and so Bauer appealed the decision, and it was reduced to 194.
And he's suing the MLB right now, and he's suing a reporter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which news article. I don't know if it was L.A. or New York Post, but he's suing her because when the female put out, this quote unquote story, this female reporter, the female I'm talking about, who's the quote unquote victim, this female reporter blasted the story and didn't say allegedly, potentially. She said Trevor Bauer did this and did that, and she kept reporting on it. And so he's suing for defamation of character and negligence and all kinds of shit. And if he wins, that female reporter is going to be bankrupt, and the paper might be, or whatever, whoever she writes from.
Yeah, and so they've decided to designate him, like they don't want him. And so he's guaranteed from the Dodgers this year $22.5 million.
Even if he sits on his couch the whole season.
And so when he's designated and he goes to waivers, it'll go down the waiver list, whatever the order is, based on records, whatever.
Let's go Giants. We have a shitty record this season.
The team that gets him can sign for $725,000.
Because he's already getting paid that $20 million for the Dodgers.
Sign Trevor Bauer for that much.
For what? 1 year? For one season?
Yeah, and then if no one picks him up, he just goes into free agency.
Yeah. Come on, Giants. Let's go, Giants. Let's go.
The tough thing is, I feel like he's almost blackballed at this point.
Yeah, and he's probably rusty.
Not because, well, no, he has I don't know if you've seen it. He literally, there's this guy who hits bombs. He calls himself the king of JUCO, like king of junior college baseball. They have what is it called? They have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I watch it all the time. I don't fucking know how I can't remember the name of it right now. But he's been throwing. He's literally been throwing bullpen sessions like.
Yeah, it doesn't. But still, gameplay.
It's not the same, but at least he's not just sitting around.
Well, for 2 seasons out, basically, he's still gonna have some gameplay rust. So, but I mean, you could get that back if you're starting pitcher. They'll probably bring him off out of the bullpen first.
Yeah, so he has his channel, which is Trevor Bauer's, and it's got like 500,000 subscribers. I don't really watch that one, like his personal one, that much. I can't even think. It's just popping up his personal. Oh, Momentum. That's what it's called. Momentum Baseball. It's actually got less than his personal account. It's got 320 subscribers. But they do like wild stuff, like where they literally made their own. Like some of it's just him throwing bullpen sessions. Some of it's like, hey, can we build our own bat? And they literally use like random stuff to build their own bats.
That's fun.
Like PVC and like
engineering
rubber bands.
shit.
It's crazy. They tried to see how many catches a baseball could take before it started tearing apart. So they caught a baseball for like over 12,000 times, where it's just
Damn.
shot out of a machine, and they just catch it and catch it.
Yeah.
Stuff where they do like D1 softball versus D1 baseball. They did one where a whole high school team got to play against Bauer and like two of the other guys. So it was like 3 guys playing against like a full squad of high schoolers.
Because Bauer would just strike him out.
And he would let the high school kids pick the pitch and location.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously he's not playing MLB level.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be blackballed more because of suing the MLB than he will be.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, like, imagine an NFL player suing. You think Goodell's going to be?
Kaepernick?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Kaepernick, he was blackballed before he even sued.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But
the
even
suit
if it
did
would have
not
been,
help.
yeah, it made it worse. They had to give him opportunity for his lawsuit, and he fucked that off. But
So I have a feeling that Bauer with his
he's abrasive,
he's abrasive, and the only
and he's
reason
gonna publicize everything.
And the main reason the Dodgers kept him around originally, any team, is because of how good he was.
Well, and they had $20 million they had to pay him either way, so they're like, well, let's see if we can get him back.
Well, no, I'm just saying in general before
Yeah.
the whole
Oh, yeah.
allegations.
Yeah, oh,
Like,
yeah.
You let a guy that's a little abrasive and kind of quirky stay around because of his skills. And now that his skills are in question because he hasn't played professional baseball in 2 years,
Yep.
and the league isn't going to be happy if you sign him because of him suing the league, what team's going to be willing to step out and make that?
Exactly.
So that to me it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I want to see him again because of his level. I want to
His
see
talent,
if he can still be. But I guess time will tell. If anybody wants to
Hopefully
pick him
the
up
Giants
before-
pick him up.
I mean, it really. Think about it. What MLB team, Trevor Bauer, Cy Young winner, like what he's done, $720K for these guys is not a bad gamble to see.
No,
what you
not
get
at
out of
all.
him.
Even if he doesn't make it past spring ball,
Even if he comes out like, I mean, at that like he doesn't. I'm not saying he needs to
he'll
come
fill
out.
seats.
Well, he's not doesn't have to come out and throw 7-8 innings.
Right.
He can be a bullpen guy.
If not, he'll go to Savannah Bananas.
Hey, bro.
That day he'd be dope there.
Oh God, dude, he'd be super dope. I mean, he wouldn't be the first pro pitcher to go over there. Jake Peavy threw a game.
Giants.
Threw a little. Well, it wasn't a full game, but he threw part of a game wearing one of like his gold glove.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Because when you get a Gold Glove award, it's literally just a glove that's painted gold.
Isn't it mounted to a block of wood?
It's mounted on like a trophy and stuff, but it's just a glove that's painted gold. It's not like an actual gold.
Yeah, it's not
trophy.
solid gold. You can wear it. It's just
And so Jake Peavy pitched a couple innings with it.
Yeah,
for the
I saw
Savannah
that
Bananas.
online. Yeah, PV was dope for the.
He's
Giants.
also a very quirky person himself.
Yeah,
too.
no, I've always liked PV. When he
was like quirky, like not abrasive quirky. He
No.
was just kind of like one of those
fun. He was
weird kind of
fun. Yeah.
out there guys.
Yep.
But,
What can you do? So, is that wrapping it up then?
yeah.
I mean, let's congratulate J.J. Watt on an amazing career.
Yep.
It sucks he didn't get a Super Bowl. He was Walter Payton Man of the Year when he was with the Texans. I hate seeing players like him that are such great people and done so much not get that highest honor, like Larry Fitzgerald and there's a lot of others. But congratulations,
Did you see
JJ.
Tomlin made a joke.
Mm-mm.
He was like, man, we're sad to see him retire. We were hoping to get all 3 of the Watts so we could combine them into a megawatt.
They've got 2 of them, right?
Like,
That's funny,
that
though.
was
That's
the joke.
funny.
He was trying to
That's
make like
some
a Power Rangers joke.
clever
where you combine
shit.
them together. And
gigawatts and megawatts and shit. Yeah, no, JJ Watt, congratulations. And congratulations on your new family. And, man, have fun being a great dad. You're going to be an awesome dad. So your brothers will hold on your legacy in the NFL. Your son will probably take it over when he's old enough.
Yeah, it's.
Or, wait, did he? He's got a daughter, huh?
I mean,
Either way, she might be the the Watt blood could be the first female if it's a daughter. But other than that, I mean, are we touched on anything else? I mean, I've got some other things, but
No, I'm good.
we're good. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you for tuning in. And I don't even remember how the outro used to be. Do you remember what it was? It's been so long, dude.
Peace.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and it's a Big and Blizz podcast. Your boy Big Mike and Blizzy signing out. Peace.